Hey there, Instagram. I'm DJ CHOPEYE out of Melbourne, and you are watching Ghostdusters. I found this Hong Kong movie soundtrack in a thrift store in Penang, Georgetown in Malaysia, some years ago. I lived in Thailand for 15 years and I had to do visa trips down there. I spent literally $1 on this thing, and recently discovered when I was putting all my records up on Discogs that it's worth $40 at least. So I mean, in a ratio of what you pay to what you could, what the real value is, it's probably my best bargain bin find. It's also got a couple of pretty funky little tracks on it, one of which I've sampled and now long since lost the beat. I can't tell you anything about it because it's all written in Mandarin. I don't even know what the label is. I just know that the singer on this album is called Yao Su Yong, who retired from the music business, I think in the 70s or in the 80s, due to some political issues. So, something weird or wonderful from my collection. This would be Vampiros Lesbos. It combines two of my favorite things, funky music and exploitation cinema. So the movie, I think it was 1971 release, directed by the famous, notorious, great Jess Franco, and you know, to make it a short story, it's about lesbian vampires. Let that be said. It's a great concept, starring the beautiful Soledad Miranda, who died shortly afterwards, sadly, in a car accident. I will play you the first track off this. It's called Droge CX9. Not sure what that means. This was composed and arranged by Manfred Hubler and Siegfried Schwab in 1969-1970. Originals are super hard to get. This one was put out in the early 2000s or the late 90s on the awesomely named label Hot Wax Crippled Dick, Crippled Dick Hot Wax. Great question here. NASA shot a satellite up in 1977 and there's a record there, and if you could include a track on that record, what would it be? Great question. I picked this up a little while ago from Rathdown Records. It's hard to see here, but I'll show you a picture. Dieter Reith, Love and Fantasy, and this is, I don't know if it was originally released, but this has been sort of redug and put out in the early 2000s on this 10-inch. The record label is Rare Sons. I'm going to let you hear a track off it called called Love and Fantasy, the title track. The reason I think it would be great if somebody discovered that satellite and the backdrop to listening to this track was the endless swathes of the universe, well, what a funkier, spacier track could you choose?
Just the right stage of growth, and the bananas are not too fast and not too
So,
thin.
cool piece of music related merch that I own. I don't own much merch, to be honest, nothing valuable. not in monetary terms, but this is very close to me. It's the Jazz Spastics Scratch and Sniff booklet, which goes with the Jazz Spastics Scratch and Sniff record. I'm a sucker for concept albums, so I love this. I love the Jazz Spastics. They're a Scottish production duo that have been around since the mid-2000s. They work with great underground MCs, some of which are more well known, the likes of Count Bass D, Mocha Only, The Artifacts. And this is just a really fun project. I've scratched and sniffed some of the panels. Some of them smell pretty good. The cannabis one's been pretty worn away, I can tell you. I'll play the track Bananas off of this. Please go and check out the Jazz Spastics on Bandcamp if you haven't. They're just, they transcend 90s boom bap and modern boom bap with their own style, with just incredible sampling, really precise production, and they're just so much fun.
The fruit must be cut at just the right stage of growth, when the bananas are not too fat and not too thin.
Leave our bananas alone.
Now, if you study a well-made banana, you'll find on the far side there are 3 ridges. On the close side, 2 ridges. If you get your hand ready to grip a banana, you'll find on the far side there are 3 grooves on the close side.
So watching GhostDusters, who you gonna call up
and the hand are
next?
perfectly made one for the other. The non-slip surface. It has outward indicators of inward contents. Green, too early, yellow.